is my review of the Who album, My Generation. It was released in 1966 and produced by Shel Talmy. So before I talk about the album too much, I'm just going to talk a little bit about how I got into the Who. So I think it would have been about 2007, and from what I remember, I think like the driving reason behind me wanting to check them out was that one of my friends' dads was always talking about them. Well, not always, but would a lot of times we'd be like sitting in the car listening to music with him, and just be like kind of talking about older rock music and stuff, and he would be like, "Oh, the band that started the instrument smashing was the Who." So I was like, "Oh, I got to check out the people that started the instrument smashing. They've got to be good." So I went one day, like my first Who album. I went to Myers. There was a Meijer near me that's gone now. And they had a terrible CD selection. There was just like nothing there. But that was the store that my mom went to that day. So like I was with her, and I went to the CDs and was looking around, and I kind of decided at that point, like, I'm gonna get a Who CD today because I really want to hear them, and I don't have anything yet. Well, all they had was like greatest hits, and it wasn't like an extremely good greatest hits. It was one of those like like the silver kind of black and white cover ones with only like 10 songs. So I kind of was like, yeah, I don't really want to get that. And like there was that, and then there was Endless Wire. And I had no idea what Endless Wire was. I didn't know it was an album that they had like just put out the year before, and that it only had 2 of them on it. So I ended up getting that, so that I didn't get the greatest hits CD. And I mean, I'll talk about it more when I get to Endless Wire, because this isn't a review of that. But that's pretty easily my least favorite Who album. And so yeah, I got it, and I was like, oh, what is this? You just have old sounding Roger on it, and the production's not that great and stuff. And so I was just like, is this? And it didn't even have Moon and Rent Whistle, which I kind of realized pretty quick. So I was like, so this isn't like the original band. And so I was really disappointed with Endless Wire, and kind of luckily though, it had a live DVD with it, with I think like 3 or 4 songs or something. It's not a very long live DVD, and unfortunately on it, I don't think that they sound the best. Like, I don't think Roger's voice was in its best around that period in time. I actually think he kind of sounded better on some of the later stuff. But I started watching that live DVD and got into Behind Blue Eyes, and I think Won't Get Fooled Again was on there, and I think Bob O'Reilly, kind of just your stereotypical songs that you think would be on there. And through getting into those songs off the live album, I decided that I did want to check out this band more, and then I was able to go get Who's Next at some point, and really got into that album, and then I just had to have all the rest of their albums. So that's kind of how I got into the Who. So yeah, this is their first album. Their lineup, if you don't know, is Roger Daltrey vocals, Pete Townsend guitar, John Entwistle bass, Keith Moon drums. I love all of what these guys do in this band. Moon and Entwistle are probably my favorite rhythm section of all time. Like, I could just go on about those two on every album. Townsend, I think, is one of the best songwriters in rock, really. And Daltrey, I really love his voice, even though they're kind of different periods of his voice. And this album, like the 60s era of Roger's voice, isn't my favorite, even though I do like it. I prefer when he gets into like the 70s voice around like Tommy. This album, I don't remember exactly when I got it. I think it would have been probably around like 2010 or 2011 maybe. It was one of the last 2 albums I got. I think it was the second to last, actually. I'm pretty sure it was the second to last, because, or no, well, it would have been third to last if you count the 2019 album, but of their older albums, this was the second to last I got. Sell Out was the last. And really that's just kind of, it was hard to find. I ended up having to order this offline. I never saw it in any store around here, which I found most of their albums in stores near me, so like they weren't a band that it was terribly hard to find their stuff. So yeah, I think that my feelings towards this album for a long time were kind of based on when I got it, and since I came to it so late compared to some of the other albums, and because it's kind of their early songs, it just took me a longer time to get into this album. I'm pretty sure last time I reviewed these guys, I had this album pretty low and had kind of a worse opinion of it than what I have now. But really within the last like 2 or 3 years, I've gotten pretty into this album. And especially since I haven't listened to it as much as some of the other ones, I've been listening to it more. It's with Out in the Streets, which I think is a pretty cool opener. It's got a cool kind of intro, cool guitar throughout it. Pete's doing, I think, like playing with the switch on parts of it. It's a catchy song, not really my favorite song on here, but I do enjoy it quite a bit. I think that the band sounds really good on it. It's pretty much like this whole album. I'm going to try not to like compliment their playing too much because really I could just do that on every song. The second track I don't mind is a James Brown cover. A lot of people really bash the James Brown covers on this album, and I get why. But to me, they don't bother me that much. I actually think it's kind of amusing to hear Daltrey try to sing them. And I really don't think he sounds that horrible. Just maybe like a little cheesy. Like he's trying way too hard. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's got some cool guitar on it. I like the instrumental stuff because it's still the Who playing and they're still doing some kind of Who things. So it's interesting. The third track, The Good's Gone. I like the drumming a lot on it and the guitar. Longest song on the album, and it's pretty good. Not one of my favorites, but I do like it quite a bit. The fourth track for me is when this album like really picks up. Little La 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 Lies. It's a great track, really catchy. I think Roger's vocal on it's one of his best on the album. Band sounds great on it. Just a real highlight for me. I really like that song. Fifth track, Much Too Much. Another great one. Really catchy song. Where the band sounds great. Cool background vocals on it too. I really like the background vocals on this album. Which the production on this album from Shel Talmy is really different than what you get on most of the other Who albums, like production wise. So that's kind of interesting. Like it gives it its own character compared to the other even early Who albums. The one thing I would say about the production of it though is I think that like Entwistle's bass kind of suffers a little bit in some of the songs, like compared to the others. It seems to me like the guitar is a little higher, which is fine because I think Pete's playing great on this album. But like I don't know, Entwistle is such a great bass player that like he deserves to be up a little bit. I feel like. So the sixth track, My Generation, is a song I already knew going into this from a bunch of different when I got into the Who, since they were so great live and had that reputation and stuff, they were one of the bands that I really went into their live stuff right away, and I kind of went and got like every DVD of them that I could find, and so I was familiar with My Generation from all of that stuff, and just great song, classic. Roger does his whole stutter thing. Band plays great on it. I love Keith's drumming on it. Entwistle's bass, crazy, that bass solo, love that. Yeah, it's a great track. Seventh track, Kids Are Alright, another classic. This one, another one I knew going into this album. Probably my favorite song on here. Kind of one of the softer songs on here, but just really catchy. The whole band sounds great on it. I love Keith's drumming on it. So yeah, that's always been one of my favorites. Maybe my favorite on here. Not quite sure, but probably close. The eighth track, Please Please Please, another James Brown song. Roger's vocals on this is a little goofy again, but I kind of enjoy them. Cause just entertaining. Yeah, I don't know. The background vocals on it are pretty cool. I don't mind it. Not one of my favorite songs on here, but I don't have a problem with it. Ninth track, It's Not True. Another one I really like. It's a funny song. It's really catchy. Band sounds great on it. Roger's vocals really good. 10th track, The Ox, is an instrumental. This was credited all the band except for Roger and also Nicky Hopkins, who plays piano on it. I think it's a cool instrumental. They all kind of go crazy on it, especially Moon. But it's like an organized kind of crazy where like it never sounds bad. But they're all just kind of like playing like as fast and as crazy as they can. So I really enjoyed that one. The 11th track, Illegal Matter, another major highlight for me. This sung by Pete, his first lead vocal on the album. I think he sounds really good here. A lot of people, from what I have kind of noticed watching videos on The Who, a lot of people seem to prefer Pete's lead vocals to Roger. I am the opposite of that. I love Roger's voice. But I do really like that Pete sings as well. When him and Roger sing together, I think it's really great. I think he's a really good lead vocalist. I think he's a really good backing vocalist as well. So just the way his voice fits into the band is really great. And this is another pretty catchy, really catchy song, pretty funny song lyrically. So this one's always been a major highlight for me. The 12th track, Instant Party, Circles, kind of a weird closer. It's I think the first song on here to have the Entwistle horns, which is cool. But it's not quite as catchy as some of the other tracks. It seems like they're trying to get a little experimental with it. And so I don't know, it's an interesting closer, but not my favorite. So The Who My Generation, not my favorite Who album, but I do like it a lot. I think it's a really solid debut album. Got some great songs on it, got some great playing. They're a band that like their sound evolved a lot through the years, and I think I feel like what they're most known for is like their more 70s sound. So like this sounds really different than that. Like this album sounds almost nothing like like Tommy and Who's Next and Quadrophenia and those albums. So it's like very firmly in their 60s style. But I recommend this album. I don't know if I would start here with them since it's so much different than like the stuff I think that they're really famous for. But great debut album and definitely one that's worth checking out.